Recordings in progress. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for being here today. Normally on Thursdays, Neil is here doing a great mastermind interview with one of the wonderful agents across North America, doing great things. But Neil is out this week and he doesn't trust me to do interviews with anybody. No, I'm just kidding. So So what I did instead is I thought I'd do something a little bit fun. Now, we've been trying to put this together a few different times and it keeps getting canceled. But I asked Melinda and I asked Jack, Melinda, Elmer, Jack Mott, to join me today to do an objection handling workshop. Now, first of all, I want to thank Melinda, thank Jack for saying yes. And, you know, for those of you that don't know Melinda, don't know Jack, the Reader's Digest version of them is they're really good at what they do. Okay, great. We're going to move on. Melinda is one of the top teams in the state of California. Jack's one of the top individual agents in the state of California. We're very, very pleased to have them within the company, and I'm glad that they're always here to share their valuable information. So first lesson for those of you that are a top, in a top producing role, and you're like, oh, I want to keep all my secrets myself. That's dumb. Okay. So be willing to help people the same way Jack and Melinda are. Hey, Melinda, I'm curious. Are you concerned that if you give out any secrets that anyone's going to steal business from you?
No.
Jack, you concerned that any of these people are going to steal business from you?
No, and actually I like sharing because it forces me to keep pushing forward.
Oh, there you go. Good. He's also amiable. So that helps a little bit as well. All right. So, but they're really great at what they do. They're great at handling objections. Handling objections for me personally is one of my strong suits. So I figured the three of us could kind of get together and have a little bit of fun and handle some of the common objections that come up in the market today. And then also let you kind of fire some objections at us, and then we can kind of handle those as well. Now, here's the rule that the three of us have come up with. We have to handle the objection a different way than the previous person. And we have no idea how the previous person is going to handle the objection. So if Melinda goes first and she handles it one way, Jack has to handle it a different way, and then I have to handle it a different way than the other two. So this could get fun, especially being the fact that all three of us have shared the objection handlers at some point in our careers. So this could be really interesting.
Can I always go first?
What's that?
Can I always go first?
You know what, Jack, you're more than welcome to go first. I just figured Melinda would go first because you might be too nervous. But yeah, you do whatever you want there, buddy boy. So that's kind of how this is going to run. Now, it's not going to be a rapid fire type of session. You can ask questions on, just objection handling in general. We're open to talking a little bit about that. We're going to chime in a little bit on, hey, in this scenario, this is why I handled it this way. Or if it was a different scenario, you might want to handle it this way. So it's not just going to be 40 minutes of just rapid fire objection handling. This is going to be a lot of objection handling, but also some dialogue in between as well. So that's kind of the gist on how this is going to work. So what I would encourage everybody to do is, if there is a specific objection handler that you would like to hear us handle, throw it in the chat box. We'll try to get to as many of these as we can. We're going to obviously handle the basic ones that everyone gets, and then kind of go from there as well. But here's the first thing that I want to say about objection handling, and then the three of us will get into this, because this is vitally important when it comes to objection handling. This is note number one and the most important note when it comes to handling objections. So I would recommend everyone write this down. The best way to handle an objection is to not get one. Okay. Well, Robert, that doesn't make any sense. It does. Hear me out. There is a direct correlation to the quality of your presentation and the number of objections you get. So before you learn how to handle objections, I would spend a lot of time working on your listing presentation, which includes pre-qualifying. because I forget who said it. Maybe someone here can remind me, because I've been to a number of retreats, so I forget these things. But someone at a retreat a few years ago said, pre-qualifying to them is the listing presentation. The listing presentation is just to get the paperwork done. I forget who said that, but pre-qualifying is part of it. So get the listing presentation part down first, because if you get that first, then you won't have to worry about so many objections. Got it? Okay, perfect. All right. So Jack, Melinda, you ready?
Let's go.
All right. All right. Okay. All right. So let's start with a basic one. I see a couple of objections coming in. Let's start with a basic one. All right. So who wants to go first?
Jack said he wanted to go first.
I volunteered earlier, right? I know.
Jack's on the spot. Jack, we're at the table. We're at the table. You're at a listing presentation. And Jack, I want you to cut your I want you to cut your commission, Jack. I interviewed another agent. They were offering a little bit less.
You know what, Robert? I'm sorry. I really can't do that. I mean, other than the commission, is there any concern that's stopping you from listing your home with me?
No, it's just the commission.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that if we can get an agreement on the commission, you would list your home with me?
Yeah. No, I think everything else is good, but I mean, you're charging 5%. This other agent was charging 3.5% total.
Okay. So we're talking about 1.5% difference.
Correct.
So let me ask you this, Robert. If I can show you how by listing and selling your home with me, I can, even after that difference of 1.5%, I can actually put more money in your pocket. I mean, it'd be a no-brainer to list your home with me, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'd like to share with you, this is what I call a listing price to sell price ratio.
Okay.
And based on this, as you can see, I'm averaging about 2.5% higher than the average agent.
Okay.
Do you know what that means?
So you're getting sellers 2.5% more money.
That's for one. And at our price point, 2.5%, I'm getting you 1% more. And at our price point, you're looking at almost $10,000 difference. I mean, Robert, what would you do for that with that $10,000?
Well, it's not really up to me, but I'm sure my wife has plans.
That's definitely a good answer. And can you see how the benefit of listing your home with me?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if there's no other question, all we need to do is sign here.
All right, sounds good. Oh, Jack went with the numbers thing, which I know the person going next is her favorite. So I'm curious to see how she handles this one.
Well, but I could do a variation of it, right?
Melinda, I want you to cut your commission. The other agent, I interviewed another agent. They were a little bit less on the commission.
You're right. And I'm curious, Robert, did you get a chance to review the agent report card that I sent over to you before we met?
You did. I did. It looked very good.
Great. And as you saw on that report card, the other agent on average is listing for 102% of list price. So meaning that when they sell a home, they sell for 102%. Now, that's pretty good. Wouldn't you agree?
That is pretty good.
And yet I'm averaging 106% of list price.
Right.
So that ends up putting 4% more in your pocket. So what would you say is better? Saving 1.5% on your commission or making 4% more, which equals about $30,000 for you?
Well, I'd rather make 4% more than the 30,000.
Great. All we need to do now is sign the contract so we can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great?
That would be great.
Sign the contract.
All right. Good job. All right, give it to me.
Well, Robert, I mean, the other agent told us they were going to do it for like 4%. So, we'd list with you, but we don't want to pay that much.
Okay, got it. So commission is certainly a concern for you. So Melinda, let me ask you this. Other than commission, are there any other questions?
No.
Okay. So if we can come to an agreement on commission, would you sign the contract with me tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So the other agent you said was 4% total, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great. And mine was, I had it around 5.5%. So we're talking about 1.5% difference, correct?
Right.
Okay. So, Melinda, let me ask you this. Did the other agent give you a step-by-step plan of action that I did on 25 points and how I'm going to get your home sold? Or did they do a bunch of vague statements like they're going to do a ton of marketing?
Well, no, they didn't give us a step-by-step plan of action. No.
Got it. And did they in that, so they probably didn't tell you that they're also going to contact 200 of your neighbors, asking them if they know someone who wants to move into the area, correct?
Well, no.
Okay, great. And did they mention to you that they're going to send your listing to every agent in their company, which is the #1 producing office in Los Angeles County, who all might have a buyer for your listing?
No.
No, they didn't say that as well. Okay. Did they also mention that by listing with our office, it's going to go out to 14,000 offices worldwide? So not only are you going to get the local exposure with the MLS, you're going to get the international exposure?
Well, no, they didn't say that.
Okay, great. So Melinda, let me ask you this. I got a step-by-step plan of action. I'm going to call all your neighbors. I'm going to call everyone in my database. I'm going to have it sent out to everyone in my company, and it's going to go out to 14,000 offices worldwide that might have investors looking to purchase here. Do you think all of that is worth 1.5%?
Well, if it's going to get me more money, then yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So great. So all we need to do now is simply sign the contract so that I can help you get what you want in the time that you want. Won't that be great?
That'd be great.
All right, sign the contract. Questions on how any of us went over that objection?
I have a question for
Yes.
Melinda. So I know she was comparing numbers with the other agent that was getting. Is that something you asked prior to the listing, as far as who are they interviewing?
Yes.
To kind of compare your numbers with their numbers?
Yeah, if they said they're interviewing other agents, I try to find out who they are interviewing.
Okay, I see.
Okay, there you go. So it's all in the prequel. Are you planning to interview another agent for the job selling your home? Yes, great. Oh, would you mind telling me who it is? Because then I could do that agent report card, and you could do that in the MLS or InfoSparks to find that stuff out. Vitally important. So, but I want to try to make this a little bit simpler as well. Melinda, give me that objection. Give me the cut commission objection one more time.
Robert, we want you to cut your commission.
Okay, got it. So Melinda, let me ask you this. I mean, what'd you have in mind? What do you think is fair total commission?
Well, they told me they would do it for 4.5%. So, I mean, that seems fair.
Okay, so if I agreed to do it for 4.5%, would you sign the contract?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Sign the contract.
Okay.
Because all I asked was what's fair. Sometimes we're handling the objection and because we think they want us to go down to 1 or 2%. Let me ask you a question. Would you take a listing if you got 2.5% on the listing side? Yes or no?
Yes.
Would you take a listing and
Yes.
be okay giving a buyer's agent 2%? Okay, great. What's 2.5 plus 2?
Yes.
4.5.
4.5.
4.5. She said 4.5. Done. There's no reason for me to handle it. So don't always assume they want you to go to 1 or 2%. Like, okay, let me dig my heels in here. I got to prove that I'm worth this much more money. It might be as simple as that sometimes. That make sense? All right, good. All right, so next one. Melinda, your price is too low, Melinda. We got to list it higher.
You know, I can appreciate that. And I'm curious, based on all of the information that we've gone through today, what price do you absolutely have?
Well, I need to have 900,000.
So if we didn't get 900,000 for you, now sidebar, I would have this conversation in advance, but if we didn't get 900,000 for you, what would you do?
I hadn't really thought about that. I mean, I have to sell this property, you know, I can't afford to rent it out. And so I don't know, but I want 900,000. I mean, I guess I would have to take less, but I really don't want to do that.
Okay. And based on what we're looking at here, would you agree that a fair market value price is probably closer to 850?
Probably.
Okay. So you need to sell this home And we'd love to get you, I mean, I'd love to get you $1 million for it, right?
Right.
But the market is telling us that your home is probably worth closer to 850.
Mm-hmm.
So if after 2 weeks, if let's just say we put it on the market for 900, and if after 2 weeks we get no offers and not a lot of showings, what are you going to do with having to move?
Well, I won't be able to.
So we need to make sure that this is priced correctly so that we open the market and get as many buyers in your home as possible versus narrowing the market.
Right.
And ultimately, the market is going to tell us if we're priced right or not. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So the good news for you, Robert, is that you don't have to take any offer. We could put the property on the market for 800,000. And if you got 50 offers, you could choose one. We could put it on the market for 850 and get no offers or get a few offers, or we could put it on the market for 900 and get no offers. So my question is ultimately, do you want to have a bidding war or not have an opportunity to negotiate any offers at all?
Well, bidding war, of course.
Okay. So let's go ahead and list the home today for 850 and open the market and get them to buy your home versus what else is out there. Does that sound good, Robert?
Sounds fair.
Okay, let's sign the contract.
All right. All right. Good job. Good job. Good job. Jack, your price is too low, Jack. I want to list it higher.
Okay, Robert, I understand you think the price is a little bit too low. Tell me, what price do you want to list at?
Well, I was hoping to get 900.
Okay, and just so we're on the same page, are you looking at 900 because that you feel like that's what the comparable is telling you, or is it that what you want?
Well, no, that's what I want.
Okay, and what would happen if the market doesn't bear the price? Well, what would happen if 3 months later and we're sitting here and then we're not getting that 900? What would you do?
I don't know. I guess I'd have to reduce the price.
And you know what? As you probably already know, most listing gets the most offer within the first couple of weeks of a showing, right? Did you know?
Right.
Right. And why don't we do this? That's still the right thing. That's priced the proper according to the comp. So it shows value in the eyes of the buyer. So get buyer to be excited about your property, and then they want to see it and they want to make an offer. Heck, we can even get a multiple offer on your property. I mean, you would like that, right?
Right.
And the more offer we get on your property, the higher the price we're going to push it, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's still the right thing. That's listed a property at 850, and then that's expect those offers to come in.
All right, sounds good. Damn it, Jack, you took mine. That was what I was gonna go with. Are you basing that price on the comps or what you want? Okay. All right, give it to me.
Robert, the price you gave me is too low.
Okay, that seems fair. So Jack, let me ask you this. Other than the price, are there any other issues?
No, I mean, it's just it's lower than what we expected. I don't want to list it that low.
Okay, I get that. So if we can come to an agreement on price, though, would you sign the contract with me tonight?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So I have it listed at 850. You want to list it a little bit higher, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. So Jack, let me ask you this. If you want a higher price than 850, is it fair to say that you need to be in control of the negotiations and not the buyer?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the deal. If we list it at 850, this is how we're gonna work this. If we list it at 850, we will get multiple buyers looking at your home. If we list it at 875 or 900, we might only get one buyer looking at your home. So Jack, let me ask you this. If two buyers are looking at your home, who controls the price and the negotiations? Buyer or seller?
I guess I do.
Right. If only one buyer is looking at your home, who controls the price and the negotiations, the buyer or the seller?
I guess the buyer, they can just walk away.
Right. So do you want to be in control of the price?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, great. So let's go ahead and list it at 850. That keeps you in control of the price and negotiations, which gives us the opportunity to get a little bit higher. Sound fair?
All right, let's do it. All
right, perfect. Go ahead and sign the contract.
That was a better version of mine.
Oh, all right. But see, this is the challenge. This is the challenge because we have to answer it a different way. Jack took my answer. That was going to be my answer is that based on what the comps say or based on what you want? But the reason we're doing it this way for everybody is because sometimes you have to have multiple ways of handling the same objection, right? Because you could handle the price objection and they might not get it. It might not click. So then you got to come at it from a different angle. Does that make sense? So that's why we're doing it this different way. All right. I knew that was going to happen at least once. All right. So let's jump into this. So Jack, I want to wait. I'm interested in selling, but I want to wait until the prices go back up.
Okay. That's very understandable with what you're hearing on the market. And when are you thinking that's going to happen?
Oh, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe, spring of next year, it's, we get past this holiday season and, maybe rates go back down and prices go back up.
Okay. And then you think that's when the market stabilize prices that's low. And then that's when you're ready to go back in the market.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. No, that makes sense. And just, I'm just curious, do you recall 2020 when the COVID, around March and around April and May?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think everybody remembers that.
Yeah. So the market was actually in shock for a couple of months, March and April. Sales plummeted just like we're seeing right now. Do you recall what happened in April, in May when the sales rebound?
No.
Yeah, multiple offers started coming, prices started shooting up, and then it went from like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 above the listing price, right? That was what happened in the last 2 years, right? Right. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but let me ask you this. Would you end up paying more money if you would have to pay $20,000, $30,000 or $40,000 more on the price, or versus a little bit higher on the monthly mortgage rate, and then you get the chance to refi later?
Well, no, I don't want to pay more.
Yeah, that's still the right thing. Let's start looking. I mean, there are a lot of opportunity to be had, especially with some desperate seller on the market. I think you can get a heck of a deal right now. And you know what the best part is?
What's that?
You're in control. You have the option. If you see a property that makes sense, we can jump on it. If the number doesn't make sense, then hey, you can still wait till next year and then hoping the price doesn't jump.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, that's schedule a time to look at the houses.
All right, good. All right, so Jack took that from a buyer angle. Good job, Jack. So Melinda, let's look at it from a seller angle. A seller says, I'm interested in selling, but I think the prices are too low right now. I want to wait till the prices go back up.
Can I share with you some great news, Robert?
Yes, please.
Well, right now, our prices are actually still up 4% from last year at this time. Were you aware of that?
No, I thought prices were going down.
Prices have certainly come down off a peak from when we had a few months ago. And yet right now, we still have relatively low inventory. In fact, we have less than 2 months supply of homes on the market right now. And we have still relatively low interest rates. What do you think is going to happen with interest rates the next couple of months?
Probably, I hear they're going to go up.
And as they continue to rise, what do you think that's going to do to the prices?
Well, probably bring them down a little bit more.
So can you see, Robert, how right now maybe your best window of opportunity for getting the best price possible on your home and being able to get out before those interest rates put more downward pressure on your home? Can you agree?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get it on the market as soon as possible so that you don't miss out on that window of opportunity.
All right, that sounds fair.
Sign the contract.
All right, good. All right, so I would have to, the first question that I would ask before you gave me the objection is I'd have to know what they were going to do with the money.
Right.
Okay, so let's say, so if somebody were to say this, well, I want to wait for prices to go back up, my first question would be like, okay, if you sell this house, what are you going to do with the money? Because that's really going to be the determining factor on how I can get it to move faster. Okay, so I need to know what they're going to do with the money. But
in this particular case, in my mind, you were moving out of state or something. You weren't like staying here.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it. Give me the objection as if you're an investor looking to cash out, but you want to wait until prices get higher.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So give me the objection.
Well, I think I'm just gonna rent it out again, and rather than sell it now, because prices keep going down.
Okay, got it. So Melinda, let me ask you this. Other than the price concern, is there anything else holding you back from listing the property right now?
No, I mean, I just don't want to sell it and lose money. I think I could make more money in the future if I wait.
Okay, sure. So if we can come to an agreement that now would be a better time for you to sell the home, would you sign the contract tonight?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So let me ask you this. So you're thinking that in the future, it's going to go up in price, correct?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Okay. Now, do you have a plan on when you think that might be?
No, I mean, but I can wait for whenever. I mean, it just depends. Like I said, I can rent it out and make some money in the meantime, and then wait till my prices go up.
Okay, so this is not necessarily a really important thing. It's just if you can get your price, you would sell it.
Well, yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'd like to just move the money out of state, and then I can hopefully maximize it. But I can wait a little bit if I have to.
Okay, so Melinda, can I just have a direct conversation with you?
Sure.
Okay. The fact that you're even contemplating selling it means that there's something about this property that you're not totally excited about, either the tenants or the location or something, because if everything was going really well and really smooth, you would not even be considering selling this property. So be honest with me. What's the issue you have with this property?
Well, I already know that it's not the greatest location, and the last tenants really kind of tore the place up.
Okay, so location and the last tenants tore the place up. So because of that, I'm hearing you right, you're a little concerned that might continue to happen, and so you just want to get out of this property?
Right, I would like to get better quality tenants.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. Why would you then try to lease it out again if you had the opportunity to cash out at a great time and go buy a property in a better location with maybe even better cash flow? Doesn't that sound like a more ideal situation?
Yeah, I think you're right. It does.
I mean, real estate's your biggest asset, right?
Absolutely.
Why put stress on yourself renting it out to tenants you don't want to rent it out to?
Right.
Let's just get this property cashed out. Still a great opportunity to cash it out, by the way. Okay, so you're going to get a great sum of money right now, and then let's get you to a better property in a better location with better tenants and better cash flow. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect. Then let's just go ahead and sign the contract so we can help you get what you want in the time that you want. Sound great?
Sounds good.
Sign the contract.
Woohoo!
All right. Good. So you have to be able to have a direct conversation with some people. Selling sucks. Okay. Selling a home is miserable. You have to clean it up. You have to put it on the market. You have strangers coming in. You have to deal with real estate agents. Okay. Selling the home is not fun. They're not thinking about selling it unless there's something at that house they don't like. Figure it out. Make sense? All right. Good. Melinda, Jack, anything to share so far on what we're doing?
Well, with that last one, there is one other way that I go about it. And if they're moving their equity from one property to another, I'm just like, it doesn't matter because you're moving your equity from one property to another. But
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's jump into the next one. So this one we certainly get a lot is that if I sell my house, where am I going to go? Not sure where I'm going to go. Everything's so expensive and the rates are too high. So Jack, I'm interested in selling, but the replacement properties are so expensive and rates are so high right now. I don't know if now is a good time to do that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely an important question to ask, Robert. But tell me more about it. Like, why were you even thinking about leaving your current house?
It's too small.
Okay.
Too small. I mean, we just had a baby girl, and the house is just too small, and I'm already thinking kind of ahead of time. She's going to need a bigger room and closet space and things like that. I just, I think the house right now is just a little too small.
Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what I don't know if you heard that or not, but so yeah, this lost my train of thought. Yeah. Tell me more. How many bedrooms do you have in your current house?
Well, right now it's a two bedroom house. And so, Amber and I have the 1 bedroom, and then, we have the nursery, but it's small and everything else. We had to move, because we were using that other room for an office, and now we had to move that out and for the nursery. So we're just kind of low on space.
Okay. So it sounds like you probably could make it work at this current situation. But ideally, if you can find a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom that move into that will work out long term, right?
That would be a lot better.
Yeah. So the question is really up to you to answer, because right now what we're seeing is, there are sellers that are working against a timeline that they're pretty desperate. There are a lot of good deals to be had. Can you see that happen when the people that are selling on the market are pretty motivated?
Yeah, it seems that way.
Right. So there's an opportunity. We can save you some money on the negotiation side, get $20,000-$30,000 off that listing price. At the same time, you get to refinance on the interest rate later on. So the question is really up to you. Would you rather, stay here, with limited space where you can work around everything, not having the ideal lifestyle? Or, bite the bullet for temporarily and then just get a, good deal on the price and refinance later?
Oh, man, I guess I'd rather just move now.
Yeah. Okay. So that's this. I'll send you some listings so you can take a look. And then, if there's anything you like, we can definitely go check it out. And do you know what the best part is?
What's that?
You're in the driver's seat, right? If you don't get a deal you're looking for, if you don't think the move makes sense, hey, you have nothing to lose.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Good. So Melinda, same thing. I'm interested in selling, but the replacement properties are so expensive and interest rates are up now.
I'm curious, Robert, what's causing you to leave your existing place?
Well, the reality is it's just too small. I need more bedrooms, more space, things like that.
Okay. And you're paying your existing costs and everything, but the place just isn't really suiting you anymore, correct?
Correct.
So I'm curious, what would happen if we could actually find your next house before you sell your existing place?
Well, that would be
Would that
nice.
be an option for you?
Sure.
Okay, great. We actually have a number of different systems, and one of which is that allows you to purchase your next home first before you sell this one. So why don't we set up a time we can talk about what your needs are and what makes sense for you in finding that next home, so that you have peace of mind knowing that we can find the right home for you. Do you have some time today at 4, or would tomorrow at 4 be better for you?
Let's do tomorrow.
Okay, great. Tomorrow at 4. See you then.
That is a real program, by the way, that she mentioned. All right, give it to me.
Robert, well, if we do sell, where are we going to go? It's just too expensive and everything's too high.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. I hear that a lot. So Melinda, let me ask you this. Other than the concerns on the replacement property, are there any other issues on listing this house?
We just don't know where we want to go or if we could even afford it.
Okay. So if we figure out the benefit of finding a replacement property, would you sign the contract with me tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let me ask you this, right? Everything's so expensive. Interest rates are high. I totally understand. What are you moving for to begin with? Why leave this current house?
Well, it's gotten too big for us, and I don't need this much space. So I just want to downsize and make it a little easier to take care of.
Okay, so this house is too big. You're looking to downsize, move into something a little easier. Okay, that definitely makes sense for that. So the rates being too high, but you're downsizing. So let me ask you this. How much equity do you have in this house?
Like 400,000.
400,000. And do you know what type of home you're looking to move to?
Well, I'd love to live closer to the beach and be like in a condo or a townhouse type setup.
Okay, got it. I bring that up because at a $400,000 equity, and you're using all that for the down payment?
Yes.
Chances are your mortgage balance isn't going to be very high to begin with, right?
Well, no, not super high.
Okay, so because realistically, the difference between a $200,000 mortgage and a $100,000 mortgage on a 6% interest rate is only a couple $100 a month.
Okay.
Now that doesn't seem too shocking, does it?
Well, no.
No, but the benefit is you, for only a couple $100 a month with the higher interest rate, we can get you out of a house that you're not happy in and into a house that you are happy in. So for a couple $100 a month, isn't it worth it to be in a house that you're happier in?
Yes, definitely.
I mean, for a couple $100 a month, I think everybody would move to the beach.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, great. So let's just take advantage of this opportunity. Now, here's the other really, really great thing, if you don't mind me mentioning. The rates are a little bit higher right now, but do you remember the last couple of years when rates were really low?
Well, yeah, everybody does.
Right. Do you think it was possible to buy a home in the last couple of years contingent upon selling another one?
I think it was really hard.
It was impossible. Really hard would be the nicest way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
So if rates go down again, isn't it fair to assume that that situation is going to happen again?
Yeah, I could.
Which means you're now stuck in the larger home because you can't go buy the next home because you can't make a contingent offer. Is that, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
So right now you have a wonderful opportunity, a window of opportunity to sell this home, make your offer on the beach house contingent upon you selling and being able to get that offer accepted. Doesn't that sound great?
That sounds good.
Let's make this happen. So let's go ahead and sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time that you want. Won't that be great?
That'd be great.
Perfect. Sign the contract.
Okay.
Has anyone picked up what I've done at the very beginning of every objection?
Yes, you asked for the motivation.
Right. But what do I do before that?
You're boxing in. I love
Every single time.
Yeah.
I haven't missed one yet. Boxing them in every single time. All right, we got time for maybe one or two more. So let me give you a prospecting question, Melinda and Jack. So you're on the phone with a contact, and they say, you know what? We've already got an agent. I mean, what do you do differently? Why should we even meet? So Melinda, you're trying to set the appointment, but they say, you know, well, what do you do differently? Why do we even need to meet? I already have an agent.
That's a great question. And Robert, I'm curious. Do you get second opinions when you go to a doctor and they give you a result that you don't want to hear?
Well, yeah, of course.
This time is just like that. So in something as important as selling your home, don't you owe it to yourself to get a second opinion?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, great. I can do that for you this afternoon. Would 3 or 4 be better for you?
I guess 3.
Okay, great.
There we
I'll
go.
see you.
All right, second opinion. Jack, I already have an agent, Jack. I mean, what do you do differently? Why do we even need to meet?
And use the second opinion. Okay.
It's not the rules, Jack. You got to do something different.
Okay. Robert, no, that makes perfect sense. I mean, if all I'm doing is just like the other agent, putting them on the MLS, putting them on hundreds of websites out there, share with the office. I mean, there's no difference between me and the other agent. I mean, of course, there's no point for us to meet.
Right.
But did your agent share with you a marketing plan that's aggressive and then not passive, just kind of waiting for things to happen?
No, they haven't shared that.
No, right? Yeah, this is what I do. You know, I utilize a proven marketing plan that's active. So we don't just sit there waiting. We actually go out and get you the most exposure. I mean, that's what you want, right? You want the most exposure.
I do.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that you have a lot of equity tied to this property too, right?
I do.
And you want every single penny out of that, right?
I want every single one.
Now, well, hearing you said that, tells me that we should get together. All I need is 15 minutes of your time. And hey, if what I say makes sense, hey, it's okay. We'll just shake hands and part way. But maybe I'm with the marketing plan, I may be able to put some additional money in your pocket. Would
All right. No, that sounds fair.
Would today at 5 or tomorrow at 3 be better?
Let's do today at 5.
Okay.
Good job. All right. Give me that same objection.
Robert, we have an agent. Why should we meet?
You know what, Jack, that's a really great question. And here's the deal. if you're interviewing a really good agent, there's probably 4 to 5 things that I do differently to help you get you the most amount of money in the least amount of time. If you're interviewing a really bad agent, I might do 10 to 12 things differently to get you more money in the least amount of time. So best case scenario, I'm still going to do 4 to 5 things that the other agent is not going to do. Want me to give you one example?
Sure.
Sure. Okay, great. So Jack, let me ask you, do you agree that we live in an international real estate market?
LA, just for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we have everyone here, right? So did you know in the last 12 months, $12 billion was purchased in real estate from out-of-country investors?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know it's a lot of money though, right?
Yeah.
So to market your property the best and get you the most amount of buyers for the most amount of money, don't you think we need to do some sort of international marketing?
Makes sense.
Well, one of the benefits of listing with me is that your listing is going to go out to 14,000 offices worldwide that all have access to your listing through our Century 21 portal, which is going to give you access to that international buyer pool looking at your listings. That makes sense?
Okay. Yeah.
And do you think that could generate a couple buyers and maybe some people getting off the plane with bags of cash looking to buy some property?
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be, right? That's one, Jack. So why don't we get together for 15 minutes? I'll show you all the other things I do to get homes sold. So that way, you know, if you're getting the best deal for the most money in the least amount of time. Sound fair?
Okay.
All right. So would today or tomorrow at 5 work better for you?
Today at 5.
Great. I'll see you today at 5.
Boom.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Questions on anything we've gone over so far?
I have a question.
Yes, Chris.
In that earlier example of listing price, one of the first presenters used the example of 9, 850, and 8. And it sounded like that in that scenario, the seller was willing to do 8. Would that have been a good course of action to get even more offers than you would 850? Because I know it seemed like 850 very quickly, and I think 800 was on the table. And in today's market, wouldn't that have been, possibly a good strategy to?
100%. 100%. If 800 was on the table, take 8.
Okay, good.
100%. Because as Melinda said in that objection handler, the buyers will determine the price. And it's this, because if you go and look at the MLS, yes, there's a lot of price reductions, but there's a lot of green arrows too, still, which means buyers bid it up. So if it's priced low enough, they're going to bid it up. It's going to end up going for what it's worth. So yes, 100%, 100%. Good question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions for Melinda, Jack, or myself? Specifically for Melinda, because she's got 1 minute.
Question for you 3 guys. How will you handle a situation? I have a client who has 3 houses here in Indio, investment properties. He wants to buy a new home in Glendora for 1,400,000. He wants to sell 2 of those properties, but wants to do a 1031 exchange. But the time frame for the new house and how this other one's gonna sell this doesn't match. So how will you handle that to manage it?
You can't. You have to just find out when the 1031, the numbers would match, and then sell it at that time. If he's trying to do a 1031 exchange, you can't mess with the numbers. So if the house being built in Glendora is going to be done on this day, work backwards and figure out we have to close on this house. The earliest we can close on this house is this day.
Okay.
So, but here's what I would do, Juan Carlos. I would still get the contract signed. So here's what so Juan Carlos. So here's the deal. The earliest we can close on your property is January 1st. Okay. If we close on January 1st, we can do the 1031 exchange, right? So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to still get the contract signed today. That way it allows me to get everything ready to list your 2 homes. I can get the flyers ready. I can get the personal websites ready. I can get the photographer scheduled. You have time to clean up the property. We can get everything settled. So that way on December 1st, we hit the market so we can then get it closed and still be on time for your 1031 exchange. Does that sound good? I can't move the numbers on a 1031 exchange, but I'm still going to get the contract signed. Here's my biggest fear. I have no proof if this is true, but this is my biggest fear. The holidays come around. We don't get the contract signed because they say we want to list in January. And we're like, good, I got a lead. And then they go to a holiday party and they find out that cousin Ricky has a real estate license. And cousin Ricky's going to do it for 2% total. And then you call in January, hey, ready to list your house? Like, oh, I found out that my cousin has a real estate license. I listed with him. But if you get the contract signed before and then say, I'm going to do all of this in preparation, cousin Ricky doesn't matter. Make sense?
Yes.
All right.
Thank
Melinda, I know you got to go. Jack, you okay sticking around for maybe 5 more minutes?
I'm okay.
All right. Melinda, Elmer, I love you. You are one of my favorite people in the entire world, and I don't say that to a lot of people.
Thanks.
All right. You're the best.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Larry.
What you just said about India, he's talking about income property, investment property. I assume the property in Glendora is going to be a primary residence. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
that's
then you
not
can't
gonna
do a
work.
1031 exchange.
You can't do a 1031 exchange.
Yeah, then you can't do it.
So don't get into trouble. Check it out
Yes.
first and then proceed.
Yeah.
And earlier
so-
you said that the difference between a $200,000 loan and a $400,000 loan is $200. Now you and I know that's not true. Anyway,
Well, I didn't give that big of a thing. I
Yeah.
only gave 100 grand.
anyway. And yeah, but you got to be careful about the exchanges and
Yeah,
talk to a reputable company.
Great,
Yes.
thank you.
So to Larry's point, an exchange has to be like for like, meaning it has to be an investment properties for investment properties. You can't do a 1031 exchange for an investment property into a primary residence.
It's best you do it simultaneously.
Yes.
Otherwise, you may get into trouble if something goes wrong.
Now, the good news, Juan Carlos, is because you can't do a 1031 exchange. You can list both properties today and get the Glendora sooner. You don't even have to wait. You don't have to wait for the time frame.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right. Good
Good,
stuff.
thank you.
Good stuff. Other questions? We'll stick around for maybe just a couple more minutes. Other questions for Jack or myself? Melinda had to jump off. She had a hard stop at 1. Other questions?
Questions as far as an objection or?
Whatever. You got time for maybe 1 or 2 more objections or 1 or 2 more questions.
Well, I had a prospecting call today. I was prospecting and for sale by owner. And one of the things is like, before we meet, I want to know how much do you charge? And then I mentioned, oh, once we meet, we'll go over those numbers. But he's like, well, why can't you tell me how much you charge before we meet? I don't want to meet if you don't tell me how much you charge. What do you say to that?
Jack. So, all right, Jack. So I'm open to this meeting, Jack, but how much do you charge?
Okay, you know what? That's a very important question, Robert. And I'm assuming, or you mentioned earlier, the reason why you're selling it yourself, you're trying to save the commission, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we're really talking about net, not how much commission you're really paying. You're really looking for what you actually net in your pocket, right?
Right.
So if I can show you how by utilizing my marketing plan, that can actually put more money in your pocket. And, after the commission, and then without you having to do any work, I mean, that's what I'm trying to show you. Would it make sense for us to get together for 15, 20 minutes? So
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so would today at 3 or tomorrow at 4 be better?
Let's do tomorrow at 4. All right, Jack, give me the objection, but keep pushing me off as many times as you can.
Okay. Yeah, Robert, what do you charge on commission?
You know
open.
what, Jack, that's a really great question. And when we get together today at 4 o'clock, that's the very first thing we're going to go over to make sure we're all good on that. Sound good?
Can you just tell me? I don't want to waste your time or my time. Just tell me what you charge.
Jack, it's only going to be a waste of my time if you no-show the meeting, I promise. Okay, so don't no-show the meeting and it won't be a waste of my time. All right, I'm going to be in the area anyways.
Just tell me how much you charge.
Okay, so before I tell you, can we come to an agreement on one thing?
Okay.
I'm going to tell you how much I charge, but we have to come to an agreement that we're still going to meet, because I know there's a lot of agents out there that'll tell you a fake number over the phone just to get the appointment, and it'll give you a different number in person. So I'm going to tell you a real number But when we get together, I'm going to show you how you're still going to net more money. Sound fair?
Okay.
Can we agree to still meet if I tell you the commission?
I mean, if the number is way out of hand, I mean, then there's really no point, right?
No point. So if I told you I charge 10%, you would say no, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. So that's good. I only charge 9.
You serious?
No, Jack, I'm not serious. I charge 2.75%. That's what I charge. Okay. When we get together, we'll figure out how much you want to pay the buyer's agent and then come to an agreement on the total commission. Sound fair?
Okay.
Okay, great. So would today or tomorrow at 4 work better?
Today.
All right, great. I'll see you today at 4. Does that help, Eddie?
Yes, I was just wondering, do you have to say or
At some point, you have to say it.
Okay.
At
I figured
some
that.
point, if they're gonna keep pushing you, you have to say something, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna box it in as a prospecting call. Before I tell you, can we at least agree that we'll meet? Now, Jack would never do this, but the seller could still say afterwards, F you, I'm not meeting with you. They could still say that, but I'm gonna try to at least make somebody give me their word, because some people will stick to their word.
Yeah, I did get to that point to saying how much I charge, and then once we meet, we could decide how much you want to pay the buying agent.
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, other agents told me they could charge me a total of 4%. And I told him, okay, so if we agree on 4%, would you sign the contract? And he was like, well, I don't know you. And I was like, okay, well, once we meet, we can go over that.
Right. But then that's exactly why I added that line of making sure we still meet, because and then I said after that, because I know some agents will say a really low commission just to get the appointment. Right. So I'm planting that bug in his head. Like, wow, that's right. So I'm going to say mine, but now here's the key for everyone to understand. I said my commission, because if I told Jack, oh, I charge 6%, Jack's going to hang up the phone. So I'm not saying I charge 6. I'm not saying I charge 5 or anything like that. I charge 2.75 or whatever you charge. Okay. I charge 2.75. So now all he's thinking about is 2.75. Now I'm in the game. Now I can get the appointment. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Good. All right. Good job. All right. So, one more thing I saw here in the chat box. So, Lasana, one of your questions was, we're thought about selling, but I have to talk to my spouse. Call me back in 2 weeks. Nothing really I can do on that because they haven't talked to their spouse about it. So I'm not going to show up unless they've actually discussed it. But here's what I would do. I'll answer this one and then we'll go to this and then we'll do one more, Jack, and then we'll call it a day. Here's what I would do on that is, we're interested in selling, but I haven't really discussed it with my spouse yet. Call me in 2 weeks. Instead of doing a follow-up call, I'm just going to set an appointment. So okay, great. Well, you know what, Lasana, instead of me calling you back in 2 weeks and then you tell me to call you back in another week and then we meet after that, why don't we just do this? 2 weeks from today is Wednesday, the 27th, Thursday, the 27th. How about I just show up Thursday, the 27th at 4 p.m. You and your husband will be there and we'll just discuss it together. So I'm eliminating the follow-up call. I'm just going for the appointment. Okay. That's the best thing I can do in that scenario. Now I'm going to do one more little quick thing and then Jack and I will do one more together.
Hey, Robert.
Hold on one second, Michael.
Yeah.
Here's a great close on setting the appointment. This is really good and really important. Wow, Robert's got an ego. Sometimes this is really good and really important on setting the appointment. Give 1 day and 1 time. 1 day and 1 time. So why don't we get together Thursday at 4? Okay, so this kind of goes to what Lasana was saying. How do we call me in 2 weeks? How about Thursday at 4? 1 day, 1 time. Here's why. Because if they object and say that's not going to work, then you kind of do a box in of saying, okay, is it the Thursday part that doesn't work or is it the 4 p.m. part that doesn't work? Because now they don't really have an out. Well, it's the 4 p.m. part that doesn't work, which means Thursday works. Okay, so 4 p.m. doesn't work on Thursday. Yeah, because my spouse doesn't get home till 5. Okay, great. Then Thursday at 6 would be fine.
¿O le contestó?
Okay. So exactly my thoughts. So, but if they say, no, that's not going to work. Is it the Thursday part or the 4 p.m. part doesn't work? They say, well, Thursday doesn't work. That means they're telling me the 4 p.m. part does. Okay, great. Well, then why don't we do Friday at 4? Does that make sense? That
Yeah.
works really well. Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right, Jack, let's do one more and then we'll call it a day. I know people got more objections and I apologize that we're not going to be here
Don't
forever.
forget about me.
Michael, go ahead, Michael.
No, I was saying in the objection that Melinda handled, when you said I had a 2-bedroom, and I guess it was you, the seller, and, but I cannot move right now because prices and rates are too high. One of the things that is an advantage for us right now, I guess we know we learn a little bit about loans. People can get into a property with, with a 2-1 buy down. People can pay very low rates on the first year. And we can know that people can, that can help them to make the decision faster.
Yeah, no, I made 100% right. 100% right, Michael. Good point. All right, Jack, let's do one more. So this came in and this was from Jesse. It says, well, Jack, I'm thinking about buying, but I'm concerned about there might be another recession. And so I kind of want to wait because if I buy now, I'm afraid that I'm going to lose money on my house.
Okay, Robert. I was going to call you Jesse.
Been called worse.
Yeah, Robert. So tell me more about that. What does it even cost you to think about purchasing a house in today's market?
Well, I'm renting, and we're renting a place, and I just always wanted to be a homeowner. But I'm just afraid that I'm afraid that if I buy a house right now, that there might be another recession, and then I'm going to lose equity. When that happens.
Okay, so basically you are paying rent every month. And where has the rent been trending, up or down recently?
Well, they're going up. My landlord keeps charging me more money.
So rent's been going up, and then you're paying the rent. You're not that money is basically down the drain. You're not building any equity with the monthly payments. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but wouldn't it make more sense if you're paying instead of rent, you're actually paying a mortgage that goes into your equity and it goes into your saving?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Right. And then, I mean, yes, it's always possible, the recession, but I mean, nobody has a crystal ball, right? Market turn just like that. Remember COVID? Right. It went from like rock bottom and then to the hottest seller's market in years. Yeah. So that's the right thing, let's get out there. Let's get out there. Take a look at some houses. And if it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, hey, you can still stay here and pay the rent.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Give it to me.
Robert, with the way things going, I think there's maybe a recession. I don't want to, buy something and then lose equity.
Okay. That sounds fair. I understand that. So Jack, let me ask you this. Other than the concern of losing money, is there any reason why you wouldn't purchase a house right now?
No.
Okay, great. So if we can come to an agreement that now is the better time to purchase, even with the potential of losing money, you would go out there and write an aggressive offer?
I guess we could do that.
Okay. So Jack, let me ask you this. So you said you were renting right now, correct? And you're looking into buying a house. So this house that you're buying, is this a short-term purchase or you plan on keeping this for a few years?
It's going to be long-term.
Okay, great. So let's just say you're right, Jack. Let's just say you're right. And in the short term, there's a recession and prices go down, which would be no good. Over time, do prices go up or down?
Up.
So is it fair to say that 10 years from now, home prices are going to be worth more than they are today, 10 years from now?
Probably more.
Okay, so even if you were right and the price did go down next year because of the recession, you said you were keeping this long term, 10 years from now, you're still going to have a home that's worth more than it is today. And you want to know what's even better?
What is it?
You've also been paying down the mortgage amount. So now you have a higher price, a lower loan. So 10 years from now, you're sitting on a ton of equity. Make sense?
Okay, I can see that.
Now, doesn't that sound better than waiting?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Then let's go out there and let's find some properties.
Jesse, are you ready to go see properties?
So let me do this one more way, and then we're going to call it a day. Let me do this one more way. So Jack, there's 3 possible scenarios to waiting. Okay, can we go through those?
Okay.
Can we agree that interest rates are on the rise?
Yes.
Okay, great. And interest rates are going to keep going up. Let's say that is an agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So there's 3 options to waiting. Option number 1, interest rates go up and prices go up a little bit. So which means that let's say you qualify for 600 today, the rate goes up, which means now you qualify for 575 and the home price is worth 625. So the home you could have got today, you're now $50,000 apart. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't buy it. That's option 1. Possible option 2 is that rates go up and prices remain flat, which means that the $600,000 house today, you now only qualify for 575. That house is still worth 600,000, which means you're $25,000 apart, which means you can't purchase it, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, great. So now let's go to possible option 3. Rates go up and prices go down a little bit. The rate goes up. So now you qualify for 575, the price goes down and the home is worth 575, which means you can still purchase that home for the same price, which means you break even, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So in the 3 possible scenarios, you lose in 2 and you break even in 1. Based on that situation, Jack, do you think it's worth waiting?
Never thought of that. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's get out there. Let's go find some property.
Okay.
Okay. When the rates are going up, those are the only 3 options. Now, yes, we're in a market where things are slowing down. So the option of prices going up in the next 6 months might not be accurate, but in some areas, prices are not stumbling. So you might be in an area where prices are still going up a little bit. Melinda said in her area, the prices are actually up 4% year over year. So it still might be up a little bit. Make sense? All right, beautiful. All right, we're at 118, so we're a little bit over. But I hope it was worth it. All right, so what I'd like everybody to do, this is not for me. Melinda's not here, but let's pretend Melinda's here and Jack Ma is here. I would love everybody to unmute yourselves and give this man right here and Melinda, who's in cyber world, a great thank you and round of applause because he was nervous as all hell getting on.
It was the man.
You're the man, Jack. You're the man.
Thank you.
Okay, was this helpful?
Yes, it was.
Good.
Yes.
We kind of just threw this together. I thought it would be helpful, so I'm glad that this is good. Should we do another? Should we do something like this again?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Jack's the only one that said no.
You're awesome too, Robert.
Yeah. You tell that
You
to all
guys
the
have
guys.
a lot of creative ways of just bringing it back, which is great because everybody's personality is very different. So it gives us the opportunity to choose like how to say it instead of being repetitive. Sometimes we feel repetitive.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Good job.
And that's why we had to what we did between the 3 of us is we said, okay, the rule is you have to handle it a different way than the previous person, even though like Jack did it to me twice, actually. Jack, we have to stop coaching because we do this and then you take all the ideas and then I can't, I got to come up with something new. I'm just kidding. But we did that because that's real life. You might do the script, the Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, whatever script you follow, you might do it and they still don't get it. And if you don't have another angle, then you're stuck. And you're like, I gave my objection. They didn't buy it. What do I do now? So this was hopefully a way of like, hey, same objection, 3 different ways of handling it. Even though some of them sounded very similar and had the same concept, it was a different angle of looking at it. So that was the goal of hopefully that helped out a little bit. So
Definitely did. It really helps with the thought process of why you're saying what you're saying, rather than just coming from a memory that disappears when you get a little more pushback.
Yeah, absolutely.
So beautiful, Robert. It was like a great boxing match. You know, they were throwing the punch and just rolling with it. You know, it was beautiful.
There is no objection you can throw me that will catch me off guard. It is just impossible to do.
It was nice.
It's just not. You just can't do it. Here's what I was paying attention to, and this will be the last thing because we'll get going here. I was paying attention to this one thing between Jack and Melinda because I know I didn't do it. When the objection was thrown at them, not once between the three of us was the first word out of our mouth, not once. Not once. The objection came, all three, boom, right into it. I'm telling you, some of you don't think that's a big deal. It is a big deal. If the first words out of your mouth are because instantly it loses a little bit of the credibility. Okay, you have to be able to jump right into it. All right, good stuff.
What I saw was that you guys always agree, like, oh, that's great, or that kind of gives you that thought process where you don't have to you know, like you think about it, oh, that's great, but you're already thinking about what you're gonna say.
That's it. Wasn't that Eddie? It's exactly what Melinda said yesterday. I had Melinda and Jack on a 5-minute call yesterday. I said, hey, I just want to let you know, here's the format. And I said, you know, feel free to give some context. And Melinda said, yeah, because if I give some context before I handle the objection, it gives me a second to think of the objection handler. And so that's exactly what it is. If you do something like that, if you agree like, oh, wow, so you want to cut your commission, it gives you that little second to breathe, get your mind right to get the objection. Or as I do the box and close every single time. If I know a box and close every time, that gives me like 30 seconds to come up with an answer. You know, we want you to cut your commission. Instantly, I'm like, great, other than commission, do you have any other questions? It's giving me time to breathe, giving me time to let my mind process of, all right, here comes the 4 different ways of handling the commission. All right. And by the end, when they say we signed the contract, yes, then I'm like, boom. It gives me that little breather, exactly as Eddie said. So good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Very good. Yes, there was a lot of questions about this. This was recorded. And Jack said he's going to send you his Venmo account. And if you Venmo him some money, he will be happy to share the recording. We will have, this was recorded. We will have this probably up and available tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, definitely by Monday. So we'll have that up and ready for people to rewatch. So good stuff. All right, everybody. Jack, you're the best. Thank you very much. You are fantastic.